Hey, I'm sitting here with Julian, and he's one of the young men in our church that has had an encounter with Jesus. And we are talking just about the stories of people's life and what God does in people's life and through their life. So, Julian, tell us a little bit about your journey of faith here.
Well, I didn't really grow up in the church. I went to church on Easter, and then like one random holiday, like St. Patrick's Day or something like that. So my family hardly ever went to church. And so growing up, I believed there was a God, but I didn't know anything about following him or what that looked like at all. And I had a very, very difficult relationship with my mom. Like, it was pretty brutal growing up. She was verbally abusive most of the time, physically abusive sometimes. And so I just grew up having a lot of hatred for my mom. I wouldn't even call it brokenness, even though hatred is brokenness, but I hated my mom. Wow. So by 19 years old, I had so much hate and bitterness towards my mom. The things that I did that were good, I did to prove her wrong, and the things that I did were bad, I did it intentionally to disappoint her.
That your relationship with her was sort of the driving force of
It's
your
the
life.
Hatred was the driving force in my life, and bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
I was motivated by all of that. And so at 19, she died suddenly, just passed away, no notice, in our living room. Wow. We were the ones that had to call 911. And so what happened is the motivation for my hatred died, but the hatred was still there. The bitterness for the motivation for my bitterness died, but the bitterness was still there. And so I went 13 years trying to find something to fill this hole in my heart, and I couldn't find anything. And I got a hold of certain things, and they didn't work. Finally, it came to the point where I just said, well, I got to get high because this won't go away.
So you kind of thought like accomplishing certain things would help you resolve that anger or pain or whatever?
Yeah. The first thing was money. And so I tried, if I could just make a lot of money, I'll be fine. Because that solves everybody's problems. And that wasn't true. I actually made a lot of money when I was 25 and was more hurting than ever. I would actually tell people in my life, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people heard me say that. And so by 32, I'd lost everything, living on a futon of a buddy's house, and smoking $400 worth of marijuana a month. And if you don't, it's a lot. That's a lot. Like, it's every single time you're not high, you smoke again. That's how much it is. So I'm high all day long. And I had a friend who went to Oasis and said, you're better than this. Like, I got to take you to Oasis. And a week later, I'm crying on the couch to God, like, I don't know what to do. I can't stop smoking. Nothing's going right. And a week later, this guy knocked on my door and took me to Oasis.
Let's go to church.
Let's go to church. And I said, I can't go to church. I'm high. And he was like, don't worry, it's Oasis. They'll accept you. And took me to church high. Drugged me down there in the clothes I was wearing. I had on sweats, a sweatshirt, and drugged me down there in the clothes I was wearing.
Wow. And
I thought that I could avoid letting people know that I was high because I was a pro at that. And at the end of the Connect group, my Connect group leader says, are you high? And I'm like, well, the jig is up. They're going to kick me out of church. I'm never coming back. But he encouraged me and said that God had a plan for my life. And so 3 years later, right after that, you actually did a sermon about giving a year where you said, hey, give a year to the church, serve, give, tithe, lead, join a Connect group, give a year of your life to the local church, full in. And I did that. At first, I was like, well, that's not going to work. I've tried everything else. This is not going to work. I mean, 3 months in, I met my wife. 2 years later, I was married, had a child, 8-month-old child, and now working in full-time ministry. And so I have this amazing opportunity to give children what I didn't have. And I didn't have that support. I didn't have that love of Jesus in my life. And now I'm seeing 10 and 11-year-olds that are bitter like I am being set free at 10. Bitter like I am. Hearing kids say that they hate their parents or hate their dad because they feel abandoned, their dad's not there. And we can bring them Jesus, and they're not 32. And so that's what I get to do with my life.
Save a lot of years, kind of like the years you lost. You can find them back through serving, reaching somebody else.
And I'm very much like in awe every single day that I get to do that.
Okay, give me the 30-second thing. So somebody's watching this. They're angry. They don't want to try church. They have the same feeling now. You're on the other side, and so you're going. What would you say to them?
You know what I would say? I would say that, the same way that you found out you liked food for the first time is that you tried it. And I didn't go into the church with any confidence that it could change my life. But you said give a year. and I gave a year. So I would say give a year, and I know that your life will be different at the end of that year than it was at the beginning. Was everything perfect? No. But I was not where I was. I wasn't in the same amount of pain. I didn't have to get high to get through my day, and I was encouraged, and I had hope. And at the end of the day, that's the source of hope, I believe, is the church.
That's great. So, because anybody can do something for 30 days, but giving a year means give a year of your life to God by serving in the church, loving people, getting involved, and that can have a powerful change in your life. So I hope that encourages you, and I want to encourage you that God can bring healing to your heart.